Talk to me about pressure, because I love that's how you appreciate the book. But as you were saying earlier, I'm in a good place, so it's okay to dial up the pressure, because I think there is certainly a burnout pandemic that has happened over the last year, sort of post lockdown. Like the next pandemic has been people dropping like flies because they were under so much pressure and just so much kind of shit for such a long period of time. And I say shit because it was different for everyone, right? That like coming out of that, people have carried on working with the same ferocity, the same speed or whatever, and had to take time off. Just had to take time off. So I think after that, the idea of like stress and pressure has lent towards becoming a dirty word. I don't think so. I fucking love it, right? Yes. I just do. But also at the same point, I crumple like a piece of paper occasionally. And I know I do, right? And I'm the most moany. I was talking to a CXO yesterday, and I was like, "God, we had a great year." She was like, "Yeah, you whined a lot." I was like, "Oh, fuck." Okay, fine. But she's right. I did. But like, I like that. I like the pressure. And I think what you're saying there is saying like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to put pressure on myself. I'm going to put it out there, which is going to put, even more pressure on there, which means I'm going to have to solve this problem. I'm going to have to kind of achieve it. I love that. And do you think you have to be, as you're saying, you have to have all the boxes ticked everywhere to be able to then dial up pressure in another part of your life?
I think you need to be clear about it so that you don't end up setting a scenario where you're going to crumble, because something I really believe in is you can either create your own pressure, create your own deadlines, or hold yourself accountable, or other people are going to dictate the pressure, dictate the deadlines, and you're going to be held accountable to help them do their thing. So I really think you choose. And the other piece too is the pressure that we all lived through the pandemic, that it's true, it's real. Part of that was too much stuff, too much change, too much at once, too many expectations, and doing it all out of one place. Versus what I did, this is I eliminated. I had a collaboration with someone who I love and admire. We're friends now. They're a previous client who turned into a business partner. And I went to them and said, I'm putting this on pause. I also then went to my partner and said, hey, honey, I'm thinking about doing this, but I also know I can't do this without your support. Yeah. Do I have your buy-in? It got her okay. And I simplified. I looked at where are the things that I can remove stuff from my plate, because you can try and do it all at once, but you're not going to do anything well. So I really believe in what are you intentionally focusing on any given time? Because had I created that pressure and not spoken to my lovely partner, had I created that pressure while still trying to create and grow this side collaboration with someone else, while also trying to do my business, while also having some one-on-one clients, while also having some people in a group cohort, while also being a parent. I've got 2 teenage fucking kids. Like, are you like, no. I'm stressed giving you this list.
Me too.
So I was very like, we gotta
split it out, bro. But just yeah, exactly. But what I really like that you said there as well is like, you can't do all the things. Wow, I remember an old saying that used to be kicked around in my house is you can't please all the people all the time. And it's absolutely true, but you can really please some people some of the time. Like, you can really, really please them. And I don't like to set myself up to say that I'm going to please everyone all the time, because I'm not able to succeed at that. But I can say that this is what I need to achieve. For me, I'm I'm not great at sticking to something if I have to think about the big picture every day. I'm very good at micro tasks. So I'm good at doing today, and I can like just today out of the park. If I have to, I can put extra hours in, I can get it done. So what I have to do is I have to set up a plan and then say, cool, what is the monthly, what is the weekly, what is the daily? And that's all I do. And that's all I focus on. So I love the idea of being like, okay, that is my plan. I've built that out already. I now want to add on this thing, which is, that's never going to fit. I've got all my days already planned out. I need to like take that, and that is when I'm going to achieve this. Like, very powerful, because otherwise you just can't do all the things well. You just can't.
No, it's not possible. And we see people, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people get stressed, get depressed, get in really bad places. And it's just trying to be everything to everyone. And I feel very bad, especially for, it's still unfortunately true. In most households, the home chores, taking care of the children, tends to fall more disproportionately on the women. So then what? We have you're working a full-time job. You got to be the primary PM, making sure that the kids are fed, the house is clean or whatever.
Yeah.
And then God forbid you allow yourself to put on some pounds and stop being attractive. Versus as men, there's like this, like having a dad bod is cool. Go ahead, put on some weight and like
what guy did the marketing for dad bods, right? What wheezing, cigarette smoking is in there, looks like me, right? Out of shape. Because they did a phenomenal job about 4 or 5 years ago. They pictured Leo once looking slightly out of shape, and then everyone lost their minds. Right?
Yeah, give us all permission to just let ourselves slide.
Yeah. While women get skinnier and skinnier and skinnier and skinnier in the same magazines, right?
Exactly.
It's so fun. It's so messed up. So unfair. I talk about pressure, right? I don't well. So I really, I honestly, I think it's important that more people see like the inability to do everything, because like failure hits me hard. Like I'm not big on failing. I like to succeed loads and be a winner. Ooh, I'm a winner. Yay. But I also like to see failure as success training. Like if I'm trying to achieve something and I don't get it first time, like I don't expect to do things first time. Like I'm much like yourself. I finished education 35 minutes after high school, you know. I tried twice to do that and they kept telling me if I wanted to leave, I could. And I was like, oh, peace. You know, I had a moustache earlier. I could get into bars. But you know, I've never done a business degree. I was a salesperson, which is, you know, essentially the worst possible person to lead a company, because I was specifically working on my own for a decade. Sure, part of a team, kinda.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if they didn't hit the number, was I like, yes. So, but, you know, if the team didn't hit the number, I was like, what the fuck? So, especially if I had commission riding on it. But, you know, I've not had the business experience. I didn't come from finance to understand that. I didn't come from there to understand that. So it's been an education to get here. And for that reason, like, you know, when we fail, I kick, you know, it hits me hard, but I dust myself off and learn from it and go to the next thing. I don't let it affect my entire outlook on everything. And I think one of the reasons for that is I don't try and do everything. So I know I'm trying to achieve this target, and failure or road bumps or whatever you want to call them on the way, press doing business, right? It's just what it is. And no matter what that is.
I think for that, listening to your experience in sales would kind of train you for that, because you learn very quickly that there's no getting the sales without dealing with a bunch of no's. There's no being good at a pitch without shitting the bed on a bunch of pitches. There's no, so it kind of trains you for it. And I'm not going to, you know, I turned 44 this year. I don't know. I don't think we're too far off years wise. I don't think there's probably a 20-year gap, but also I know the younger me struggled.
How dare you? I could be 24. What?
You're not 24. No. Let's not kid ourselves.
No, I'm heading towards 40 pretty quickly. So I cut you off. You were saying.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But I think what happens is we realize that, yeah, we fell flat in our face and got run over by the lorry behind us, but still got up and we're okay. And it's taken some years, some life experience to realize that. And then to realize, you know, oh, if it wasn't for all those times that I shit the bed, that things went wrong, when things went off the path that I thought it was supposed to be on, has allowed me to get where I'm at now. And it's a really good thing I'm grateful for, actually. And in the book, there's definitely a bunch of my failures, a bunch of my scripts, things that I started didn't go well. And whether it's in business and also personally, like I talk about my divorce, I talk about my depression, but I also wouldn't be here now glowing, loving life if it wasn't for all that shit. So
sure.
I wouldn't trade it in.
It's so important, isn't it? And I genuinely remember early to mid 30s or somewhere around there, where I was like, the Fonz is cool because he doesn't care what other people think, right? Something I'd heard my whole life, right? But it was only about that, like, and probably because at that point I had things sorted. I had a wife, you know, maybe not sure I was married at that point, but you know, had the woman who's going to become my wife, great friends, enjoying my work, like, you know, liked where I was in time to be like, when I fall down now, I doesn't like replay in my head like it did when I tripped at school in the dinner line, right? It doesn't replay in my head for every minute for a week. Instead, I'm like, immediately drag someone else down with me. We roll on the floor giggling, and I get back up and be, everyone see me fall, right? Just because of where he got to. But I literally remember having that kind of like, bing, light bulb moment of being like, the Fonz is cool and that's why he's cool. Yeah, I'm sitting here worrying, trying to look like the Fonz in every moment and trying to be super cool. Hey, right? I'm not that cool. What's cool is when you know how ridiculous you are and you're okay with it, right? I remember having that kind of light bulb moment, and since then, failure is not something which I'm like personally have to pull the dagger out to deal with, if you know what I mean.
I love it because the way you're talking about it is, for me, it's that definition of comedy. Comedy is tragedy plus time. And all that's happened as you've gotten older is you realize that the time horizon doesn't need to be as long. Yeah, I don't need 10 years to find that funny. I can find that funny now.
Sure, exactly.
I need 60 seconds to realize that that's hilarious.
Yeah. And probably because, you've had so many of those, I remember I read a study recently about the perception of time and how when you're a baby and mum says there's dinner in an hour, you're like, an hour? Never going to happen. Whereas now I'm like, hey, can we push this back by an hour? And then like 15 seconds later, someone's knocking on my door being like, hey. And it's because of your perception. You've seen more hours, right? You've seen more times. So it's, I've seen 37 years worth of hours now. I look at the next hour and I'm like, I know what that, I know how long that's going to be. So it starts to speed up. And the same thing, I think, with failures and with cringy moments, whatever you want to call them, like the embarrassing stuff in life, in business, wherever, when you're like, God, I'm useless. You've had so much of it. I've tried loads of stuff, like I've failed a bunch of times, right? So now as soon as I fail, I'm like, I know what this looks like. Probably not the end of the world. And if it is, why don't we have a laugh to the end of the world,
Well, we enjoy the last moments laughing about it instead.
Exactly. Yeah. As opposed to sitting there like, oh, no. Exactly. Well, there it is. Monsieur Robb Gilbear. Okay, Robb Gilbear. He was awesome. What a guy. What a guy. The man, the myth, the legend that is. Just a sweetheart. The wonderful thing about running this show is occasionally you really do get to talk to people and immediately know that is a kindred spirit, and we could talk for the next 6 weeks about absolutely nothing and have a damn good time doing it. Now, thankfully, we didn't do that because we didn't expect anyone to listen to a 300-hour show, but I'm definitely going to have Rob back. We're definitely going to talk again. We're going to push him into next year sometime and find out the next amazing thing he's doing. So go and check out Rob's book, Die Before They Do. It's on Amazon. It's a bestseller in 8 countries. He said it all during the show. What more do you need to hear? Huh? What more do you need to hear? Go buy his book. Check it out. He's an awesome dude. If anything, just to give him the little bump that he needs. He doesn't. And a little bit of kudos for writing such an awesome book. Also, while you're doing stuff for other people, you're buying books for Rob. What about me, man? What about JJ? So do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe. It helps the algorithm. It's good to know that you're listening. I will continue to keep booking guests. The more of you that keep liking and subscribing and commenting and throwing out your 10 pence into the Daily Show verse. Listen, that's it for the year. So if you're listening to this next year, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. If you just checked it out live, I hope you're going to have a wonderful Christmas. In the meantime, be awesome to each other. Be excellent to each other, as they say in Bill and Ted. And I'll see you guys in the new year. Bye.